Hello, this is Keith, and welcome to budget video number 7. So we are doing the first budgeting session for April, and this is an exciting budgeting session. We have a magic month, so we have 3 paychecks, and I waited a few days to do the video after payday to show you that we got a stimulus check and we got a tax return. So I'm going to go through that right now. Before we go to that, I'm going to tell you about my typical income. This is my income from last year, and you can see this is where the tax return and all that is generated from. You can see that we generate about 66% of the money we get to spend. That means the rest of it we don't. Interestingly, most of the money goes to medical insurance, and a little bit of that goes to vision and dental. About 7,500 total goes to medical each year for me, my wife, and my child. And that's what the company paying a good amount, probably more than the typical apartment that is out there. We paid a little bit for taxes, and we saved about 5% on the 401k. So that's how that worked out. So if you look at the net, that comes out to about $1,000 every 2 weeks, about $500 a week. So we were pretty excited when the stimulus came in this month, $4,200 plus the tax refund of $5,080. Now, before I got married and had a child, I never got tax returns that big. It's simply because we do have a child now, so it's gone up. But when you calculate that out, that's 18 weeks of pay. So I would have to go to work and come home for 18 weeks to end up with that much money in the bank account. And of course, then it would go to bills. So we wanted to be very careful and very conscious about how we spent the money, which is what we've been working on the last few days. So how did we spend it? Well, of course, we didn't really spend very much of it. We're putting 61% of that into savings. So all of the 4,200 is going to savings, and then another 1,800 some dollars of the tax return. The reason why we chose that number is it hits our goal of $10,000 in our emergency fund, which is a big thing with Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says save $1,000, pay off all your debt. We did all that. When our daughter was born in December of 19, we had $50 in our savings account, which is pretty scary. So all the stimulus and all of that, we've been saving as we go, or at least most of it we've been saving. So now we hit our $10,000. So we're excited about that for an emergency. And then we thought, well, what if our car breaks down? Then we're going to go straight down into the $10,000. The car repair envelope is pretty small. It's only $35 a check. It's $910 a year. So we just add another 1,000 to that. So that's doubling our car repair budget, which is definitely necessary. The next thing we decided to do is we said, hey, we want to spend at least that much on education as well. We want to figure out how to increase our knowledge to increase our income. So we said, let's just take 1,000 and put that aside there. That's always money well spent. And then the rest of it went to things like shoring up the household envelope. Our household fund is only $60 a check, and we spend closer to $90 a check. So we're always moving money out of other categories. So we're putting 500 straight into that to stock up on some things that we're lacking here. And then the rest of it's going to go to beauty and clothing and that sort of thing. My wife's been a great sport with beauty supplies. We've only budgeted $4 a paycheck. That's only $104 a year. She needs shampoos and makeups and all those things. And she's been, like I said, a great sport. So we're adding another 300 to that. So that's more than triple what she's used to. So there we go. Would we have liked to have saved all of it or invested all of it? Of course we would have. But right now we're where we're at with the income that we have. We're happy with this mix.
This is the AnyList app that we use on the iPhone. You can see that it defaults to our grocery list, and as we buy things off the list, we cross them off. And the way we decided what to buy is actually for a long time we've been adding things to our wish list, and we sort of have them listed here. Kelly's at the top, and her items are here. And you can see there's a weight. We just added that in, and there's some things we're going to wait on, like jeans. And then there's my wish list. And then there's some things we're gonna wait on as well. And so on and so forth. So this is great because you're always thinking of things at the wrong time when you can't afford it. We put it in the list, and as these things get purchased, we're going to just check them right off.
And you can see on the You Need a Budget graph from the app, the checking and the savings amount has gone up. So we have about $10,000 in savings and another $4,000 left to be spent. So super excited. So let's go to You Need a Budget app, and I'm going to take you through how we do all this in the app for this paycheck.
All right, so here we are back in the app. So there's a lot going on. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. First off, we have some transactions. Like I said, we waited a few extra days to do this. So we're just going to go ahead and do some swiping here. Low battery. Do some swiping. We're going to approve all these transactions. I already checked them out. They all look good. And we have the stimulus, and we have obviously the tax return. Those are already up there. So when we got the stimulus, it came as a check in the mail, and that was deposited directly into the emergency fund. It was actually put directly into the savings account. So the money's in the savings account under the accounts tab, but I do need to move it from to be budgeted to the emergency goal, because remember, it's separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on my emergency goal. We're going to move money from to be budgeted to the emergency fund. And we're going to do $4,200 for the stimulus. And there it goes. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing with the some of the tax return money. So I'll do it again. Could have added this together. I could have all done once, but that's okay. Just an example here. 1819 from to be budgeted to the emergency fund. And there it is. So now when I go to accounts, when I go to the envelope, you can see it's at $10,000. Now I just need to go back to my accounts. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the money from the checking account to the savings account, because I moved the money from to be budgeted to savings, but of course my savings is in a savings account, so the payee is going to be transfer savings account. The amount, in order to get that last $10,000, it's 1819.00 right there. No categories needed. Remember, we just did all the categories just a minute ago, and it's coming from the checking, so you can see it's going to the savings account, the payee, and it's from the account checking. Probably the most confusing thing you'll ever do in this app is transfer between checking and savings, so that's why I try to avoid it as much as I can. Memo is tax refund to savings. And I hit done and I hit save. So now when I go to my savings account, you can see it's $10,000.84. Yay. All right, so we got that part done. We got the money into savings. Now we're going to go through and take the rest of that money from to be budgeted and do what we said we were going to do in the video. So several ways we could do that. What I'll just do in this example is I'll just tap the green to be budgeted, and you can see it's pretty self-explanatory. We'll put in $1,000, and the 2 in this case is going to go to education, which is currently $9.79. And we transferred that over. So now we'll go take a peek here at education. The little trophy right there. There it is. All right, the next thing we're going to do is the cars. More 0, there we go. So we got that. And now we're going to go to the next one. We're going to send $500 to the household. And now we go to household. There's a little shopping cart. You can see that's there as well. We're going to do that again. And we're going to go to clothing this time. We bought some baby shoes, so we're already a little bit negative there. And clothing is 300. Tap again. Another 300 is going to go to beauty supply. Done. Then we're going to add something to subscriptions, which is $112. It's going to go to subscriptions. We're going to renew our membership with the German American Society of Central Florida. And we're going to join AAA. So we're excited about that. And that's subscriptions. That leaves us with $905.54 from this last paycheck. So we're going to go right up to the top. And the overspend will probably be taken care of once we fund these envelopes. So we're going to go ahead and pinned at the top is household. If you ever want to pin something to the top, you can just hold it down and it goes to the top. If you want to pin something here, you can pin it straight to the top. But so there's actually two households now, so we're going to skip the pinned one. All right, so grocery, we're going to add plus sign, 110. There we go. Plus sign, 110. And you can see we overspent $398 last time, so we can get that fixed. If I tap on that, move money from the other grocery, because we have 2 different weeks of groceries, I'll move it $398 from the second week to the first week to cover it. And there we go, now it balances nicely. Okay. I'm going to just go top to bottom like I always do. If I run out of money, I just stop putting money into those envelopes and hopefully we can pick it up the next time. Remember, mortgage and condo, I pay those early and I pay one at a time. Smaller check this time and a bigger one the next check. So we're going to do the condo dues. But before I do that, I need to switch my months. So I already had that pre-funded from the prior. So now I flipped over to the next month, which is May. I'm going to tap on condo dues and I'm going to fully fund that, $225. Enter. And now when May 1st rolls around, boom, fully funded. Go back to April. I'm going to skip the mortgage. We'll do that out of the next paycheck. And I'm going to continue to fund these. You get pretty quick at it after a while. You guys are probably getting pretty quick at this by now too. If you guys never tried the app, you get a free trial for a month. Just go to my YouTube page. There's a link there. You get a month free. I get a month free. Seems like a pretty good deal to me, right? So we're going to keep going through that. Power was already paid a few days ago, but it's okay. The money was there. At 88. The cell phone is due a day after my second paycheck, so we'll take that and we'll worry about that on the next paycheck, so we'll skip that. We're going to add 65 to the household like we always do. Gas keeps going up. We'll add 35 to that. Car maintenance, just because we always do it, we'll add another 35 to that. Clothing. Stop. All right, so I messed up. Now, I don't know if you saw it or not on the video, but I ran out of money until we budgeted. And when I just put the money into auto maintenance for $35 and for the cleaners for $20, the money was not at the top of the screen to be spent. But did you notice it let me put the money in anyways? What happened? What it did was the app borrowed the money from next month, which is really annoying. And I wish it would have had an error at the top to tell me. So if you're watching You Need a Budget, folks, that's something you can fix. If you go to May now, because I took money and I put them in those categories that I didn't have, it took it from the next month and it's showing it as a negative. So you don't want to do that. The only way to fix this, I'm going to go back to April and watch this. I'm going to go back to, for example, the clothing, right? I don't have the 20, so I'm going to do minus sign $20 and hit the checkbox. And again, now if I go to May, you see it's reduced. Now I'm 546 over. So I'm going to go back to April again. And what I could do is I could do minus 546, or I could just take out the 35 to get me back to where I started. Now see there, 29.54. So last time I put 35 into auto, shouldn't have done that. I should have only put in what I had to spend, 29.54, plus sign 29.54 and checkbox. And now you can see the budget went down to zero. So if you ever have this happen, that's how you fix it. It's probably a good idea when you're from time to time is to check the next month and make sure you're not running a negative at the top of that. There you go, guys. We wish you all the best. We'll see you next time. Bye.